Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are, we're going to explore something that I think you, the listener, are intimately familiar with right now.
Oh, absolutely. I think pretty much everyone is feeling it on some level.
Right. It's this overwhelming constant exhaustion. But, and this is the key here, we're looking at why you might be feeling this way. And it is not for the reason you might think.
Yeah, a lot of people jump straight to the idea of a societal collapse.
Exactly. But we aren't looking at a collapse today. We are looking at what the sources call a state of irreversible desynchronization.
Which is a really profound shift in how we understand our current reality.
It really is. And to do this, our stack of sources today includes these really fascinating structural analysis notes. Specifically, we're digging into a thesis known as GOA-34, along with a related system reading framework.
Yeah, and these documents, they look at the world through this lens of speed mismatches and systemic layers.
Right. And before we get too deep, I just want to set the tone for today's deep dive. This is not about doomsday prepping or, tech fear.
No, not at all.
It's just a calm, observational look at why we feel like we can't stop and why society seems to be quietly eroding without any visible, loud breakdown. So, okay, let's unpack this. We have to start with this illusion of collapse.
Right, because there's this massive contradiction we all kind of live with every day.
Yeah, I mean, you look around and everyone talks about the world just falling apart. But if you actually look at the mechanics of it, things are, well, they're actually moving faster and more efficiently than ever before.
Oh, completely. I mean, think about AI evolving daily or how global logistics just hum along, delivering packages in hours.
Right. And financial markets are processing millions of transactions in literally milliseconds.
Yeah.
We are so constantly connected, constantly reacting to things.
And that's the thing. If this were a true collapse, none of that would work.
Exactly.
The GOA-34 thesis reframes this. They argue the world isn't breaking. Instead, it's entering this phase of, they call it high-load homeostasis.
High-load homeostasis, so like a constant state of heavy burden.
Precisely. It's a normalized state of just immense pressure. And the reason it feels so terrible is because society used to have this hidden premise that has totally disappeared.
Okay, what was the premise?
The premise of resynchronization.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so basically, if you failed or if you were just tired, you could return to a baseline, you could rest, catch up, and sink back in. That buffer, that margin for recovery is just gone.
That makes total sense. It reminds me of, when you have an older smartphone.
Oh, yeah. The battery issues.
Right. You plug it in overnight and you expect it to charge up to 100%. But modern phones have all these incredibly demanding background apps.
Yeah, location tracking, pushing notifications constantly.
Exactly. And you can't really close them. So you wake up, and even though the phone was plugged into the wall for 8 hours, the battery is only at, 73%.
Because the background draw is just too high?
Right.
Yeah.
It never gets to actually recharge.
That is a perfect analogy. That's exactly what's happening at a societal level. The global system demands processing power, even when you're supposed to be resting.
Wow. Okay, so if the systems are running perfectly, what exactly is draining the battery? Where's all this friction actually coming from?
Well, the framework explains this using a concept called shear.
Shear, like in geology.
Exactly like geology. It's the friction caused when two tectonic plates move at different speeds or in opposite directions.
Okay, so what are our two tectonic plates in this scenario?
They call them the fast OS and the slow reality.
Fast OS and slow reality. Okay, so the fast OS would be, based on the examples in the text, things like AI competition, right?
Yes, AI, algorithmic scheduling, high-speed capital turnover.
Market shares being updated in milliseconds. That's all the optimized systems we've built.
Right, and then grinding against that, you have the slow reality.
Which is us.
Basically, yeah, it's human cognition, it's local communities, bodily care, raising a child.
Building trust with someone.
Exactly. Those things are inherently slow. They only change over years or even generations. You can't speed run grief or, force a crop to grow overnight.
Right. Biology has limits. But wait, let me push back on this a little bit.
Sure.
Hasn't technology, hasn't it always moved faster than human biology? And the Industrial Revolution was incredibly fast and disruptive. Why is this time fundamentally different?
That's a really good question, and the sources address this directly. The difference is that in the past, society had built-in margins.
Margins, you mean
Yeah.
physical limits?
Yeah. Think about it. Factories physically closed at night. The mail didn't run on Sundays. There were pauses, pending states, times built in for renegotiation.
Oh, right. You physically couldn't work because the sun went down.
Exactly. But today, the fast OS has engineered all of that physical friction out of the system. The problem isn't just that the fast OS is fast. The problem is that the fast OS no longer waits for the slow reality to catch up.
Oh, wow. It never waits.
Never. The prompt to update now, whether that's a software update or a market shift you have to react to, it arrives before your previous recovery is complete.
So we are essentially forced into a state of permanent connectivity.
Yes, permanent connectivity, boundaryless environments.
Which really explains this chronic burnout everyone is feeling. I mean, you see it in organizations, you see SNS fatigue.
Yeah.
We just feel this relentless pressure to keep up.
And we're constantly being fed these narratives that tell us, well, if you just work harder, you'll catch up.
Yes. Or like, oh, don't worry, this new AI tool will eventually fix all your stress and save you time.
Right. And the system reading framework is brilliant here because it dissects that using what they call a layer framework.
Okay, lay that out for me.
So those optimistic messages, the promise that tech will save us, that's just the narrative layer.
It's just the story we tell ourselves.
Exactly. But underneath that is the structural OS layer. And that layer doesn't care about the story. It is driven purely by high-speed optimization.
And it demands that constant synchronization.
Right. And to explain what this does to us physically, the text uses this incredibly powerful biological analogy. They call it chronic depolarization.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, because this completely shifts how we think about exhaustion.
Yeah.
Walk me through the neuroscience of that.
Okay, so in a nerve cell, when it fires a signal, that electrical spark is called depolarization.
Right, the spark.
But for that exact same cell to fire a second time, it needs time. It has to physically pump ions back across its membrane to reset.
So it needs downtime. It physically has to rest.
Exactly. That reset phase is called repolarization, and it is biologically mandatory.
But the society we've built, this fast OS, it keeps us chronically depolarized.
Yes. We're on constant alert, constant comparison on social media, constantly syncing with new software at work.
We're just firing.
And because of that, we literally lose the physical time, the margin required to repolarize or reset.
And the consequence of that is huge.
Yeah.
Because if we are in this state of chronic depolarization, we don't just feel tired. We fundamentally lose the capacity to reevaluate our situations.
That's the scariest part.
Yeah, we lose the ability to step back and say, hey, is this job actually good for me? We're just constantly reacting, trying to clear the immediate notifications.
It's trying to survive the next millisecond.
Right. But okay, if everyone is this burnt out and everyone is constantly firing like this, why aren't we seeing massive, loud breakdowns? Like, why aren't there global protests about this pace of life?
Yeah, the sources highlight this phenomenon. They call it silence detection.
Silence detection. Because in the past, when systemic pressure got too high, people got loud.
Right, you had massive strikes, loud protests, clear rejections of the system.
But right now, the visible phenomena are so much quieter.
Very quiet.
It's, quiet quitting, or people just dropping out of their group chats.
Yeah.
Shrinking their expectations.
It's a silent local retreat.
Exactly.
And the experts warn that this silence, it isn't a sign of peace or stabilization.
What is it then?
It's a sign that the expectation of recovery has dropped.
Oh, wow. People just don't expect it to get better.
Exactly. People are abandoning connection entirely because the fast OS treats the slow reality things like breathing, seasons, caregiving, local speed as an inefficiency, as a bug.
And if the system views your downtime as a bug, you stop fighting it loudly and just quietly disconnect.
Right. But structurally, this is incredibly dangerous.
Because the fast OS needs us.
Yes. The fast OS completely depends on the slow reality to exist. High-frequency trading and algorithms don't raise children or build physical infrastructure.
They don't maintain human trust.
Exactly. Social reproduction, maintenance labor, the fast OS needs all of that. So by treating human downtime as a bug to be optimized away, it's silently eroding its own foundation.
It's cannibalizing itself.
Totally.
I mean, think about your own life if you're listening to this. When you feel overwhelmed by these accelerated decision environments at work, do you shout about it? Probably not.
No, you probably don't.
You probably just quietly disconnect a little bit more from your community when you clock out.
Yeah.
You cancel plans because you just don't have the energy to sync up with a friend.
You order delivery instead of going out. You retreat.
Yeah. So, okay, what does this all mean?
What do you mean?
Well, if we are stuck in a world where AI and markets won't slow down, and we physically can't speed up our biology, where do we go from here? What is actually valuable in that kind of world?
The sources outline what they call a phase shift.
Phase shift.
Yeah. The criteria for the future are fundamentally changing. Historically, success was defined by speed. Who is the fastest? Who is the most efficient?
Right, the ultimate optimization race.
But the GOA-34 thesis suggests that as this desynchronization becomes permanent, the true value will quietly shift. It won't be about speed anymore.
What will it be about?
It will be about who can return, who can reconnect. True value will belong to those who have maintained their recovery margin.
Wow, so it's like the ultimate flex in the future won't be having the fastest processor or being available 24/7.
No, not at all.
It's actually having a pause button, the preservation of human temporal space.
Exactly. The organizations and individuals that protect that space are the ones that will survive because they aren't burning their foundation to ash.
That is such a profound way to look at it. We've spent decades trying to eliminate friction, thinking wait times were the enemy. But that friction was our breathing room.
It was our life support.
So, to summarize this journey we've been on today, we aren't collapsing. We're just caught in the intense shear, the friction between a fast OS that demands constant synchronization and a slow reality that desperately needs a minute to breathe.
Yeah. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, recognizing this dynamic is really the vital first step.
Because it renews the personal guilt.
Exactly. When you feel that deep exhaustion, it's not an individual failure. You aren't just lazy or bad at time management.
It's a systemic compatibility error.
Beautifully put. You're a biological entity forced to interface with the machine operating in milliseconds.
Right. Well, I want to leave you, the listener, with a final thought to mull over. Something taken directly from the core questions of this text.
It's a heavy one.
It is. We've been talking about how we are losing our ability to return to a baseline, but at least we remember what that baseline felt like. We know what it means to be rested.
We have that memory, yeah.
But if the world is changing, not because we are unable to stop, but because we are losing the ability to return, what happens to the next generation?
Right.
What happens when children are born entirely into this high-load homeostasis? They've never known a slow reality with built-in friction. If they never have a baseline to return to, what are you, right now, quietly beginning to lose on their behalf?
That is the question we all need to be asking.
It really is. Take care of your slow reality out there, everyone. We will catch you on the next deep dive.